Okay, this is an unexpected video because I've been asked to make a tutorial on how I replace the internals of a joystick. So I already dismantled the DualSense. I already have a video about it if you want to see how to do it. But for this one, I'm just going to show you a different desoldering tactic, which is using this tool, and also how I replace the internals of a joystick. So I do flux it up because it just makes it way quicker, and I'll clean it up later. So the holes still have solder in them, which is something I need to get rid of, and for that I will use the same tool as in my previous videos, which is the ProSkid SS331. It does make a bit of noise, so I'm gonna let it heat up and then I'll come back. Okay, that should be good enough. It says it's 400 degrees Celsius. So first I'm just gonna get rid of these solder bits that are remaining in the holes. And I also just want to explain like why I actually replaced the internals. I open up the joysticks so that not only can I replace it, but I will also be able to lube the inside because the factory lubricant is not really the best. And the one I use is Krytox 205G0. You can see it's a bit clogged, but I got it out. So yeah, I use that lubricant, which is actually meant for keyboards, so I don't really use a whole lot. It's not the best kind of lubricant for joysticks. You could maybe use something like Super Lube as well. It's a bit more forgiving if you use too much Super Lube. For me, I have a lot of Gulikit TMR joysticks, but I explained in my review already that the frame, it's prone to rust, and I bought mine quite early on from those sample batches, and that means that my batch still has those rust issues and I cannot use the metal frame. The ones that are sold now don't have this problem, I want to make that clear. But another thing is the button, which whether you buy Gulikit or Hallpi, they're the same manufacturer. So they're the same joystick, basically. Both of them still don't have proper buttons. Like I've had mine fail after just one playthrough, or yeah, two playthroughs. One from Horizon Zero Dawn and the other one for Forbidden West. So I played those two with the same controller, and my button just started to fail. It's quite fast. So I'm adding a bit of solder here because this one is a bit stubborn. Let me do it differently. There we go. Now just final time cleaning up the tube. So if you have this gun or a similar gun, I do recommend clean it up after each time you use it. You can see it's just clogged right now, like I should have done it a bit earlier. So what I do then is just I keep it in for a little bit, which heats up the rod, and I can kind of melt the solder that's stuck down here. So yep, in my opinion, proper tool maintenance is very important, because I already had to replace a gun like this, and I don't think it would have been necessary if I just cleaned it properly. And then before I turn this off, Another thing I want to do is just check all these pins, and I want to get rid of any excess solder. This makes it a lot easier to then disassemble the joystick. So you can clean it with the cotton swab, like I do here, and it does take a while. You need to push quite hard to get everything out. And I have found a better way to do this, which I'll show you on the other side. Then I just use a melamine sponge, if that's how you pronounce it, and I cut it up into very small bits. Or I actually have an even smaller one, but let's use this one. So I dip it in alcohol, and it's actually very simple to just get rid of everything. Like, that's it. Yeah, there's like quite a lot of alcohol remaining because it's a sponge, it's supposed to absorb a lot. But it makes cleaning very simple. And I use this method for shells as well. So back to the joysticks. Okay, so I have the joysticks here, and the older batch Gulikits. So the ones I bought came with this. I just give that to customers because I don't really use it. I have a lot of them. So yeah, these things, they're from the older batch, and as you can see right here, they still have some rust. So these are just sitting in my drawer mostly, or sitting in the box that it was shipped from. Right here, it's slightly, which is a problem. That's why I replaced the metal housing. And the benefit of the Alps module is it literally fits right on here. So if I wanted to, I could just put the sensors on here and that's it. But I do notice you get like a way larger circularity, which I don't want. Like, it defeats the purpose of having TMR. So I also replaced the internals and the button, because this button is also like not good. So what I need in order to replace them is a flathead screwdriver. I use a 1.5. That might be standing for millimeter, I'm not sure. Just some tweezers and large pliers, and of course lubricant of any kind. Just make sure you don't use too much. This one is not really the best choice, but if I don't use a whole lot, then it still works fine. So I'll start with opening the Gulikits. So I clamp it down like this. And the reason I do this is if you don't do it, then these plastic tabs, they break off very quickly. And the same thing with Alps. They also have those, did I say metal? I meant plastic tabs. I don't know. So yeah, I don't want to break those off. So what I do is I clamp it down. I take my flathead screwdriver. And I just pry open these metal tabs. I said it correctly this time. There. If you hear background noise, that's just the freezer right here. So yeah, that's it. And then the other side. It's a bit difficult because I also have my phone between me and the joystick, so recording and doing this at the same time is a bit difficult. That's good enough. You don't have to get it all the way flat because, like, as you can see, it's already letting loose a lot. And if you pry it open all the way, you are still going to break these tabs. So you just have to kind of wiggle it. Maybe push it from this side. You can, if your flathead is actually like thin enough, you can get it in between these grooves. And just widen it up. With the Gulikits, that's a bit more difficult, but the Hallps, they have a very large gap here, so that's easier to do. There we go. And let's see. If you broke those tabs, like, you just have to like touch them like this and they will snap off. It's not the end of the world. I'll show you how to still continue if you snap these off. So this button, basically trash. This as well. I don't use those. And then next, let's take some Q-tips. You can use alcohol, it doesn't really matter because you're gonna put new lube on it anyways. Let's remove all this. And from this side as well. Alright. So that's it for this one. And then for the Alps, if you don't care about the base, if you know you're going to use this one, you can just put your tweezer or your screwdriver in here like this and bend it open. But I don't really want to bend the metal too much, so I'm still going to do it this way. And I want to show you how you can do it regardless which piece you want to use, because if you want to use a different piece, then I will still show you how to not break the joystick you want to use. And something important for these Alps frames, or any frame really, I can show it off with this one. So if you bend it open and you bend it back closed and you open it again, it's getting like the metal is getting fatigued and it will break off at some point. Maybe I should use this one. So let's say you straighten it out fully and then you bend it back 90 degrees. And it's like, oh, well, I made a mistake. I need to open up the joystick again. So you open up the joystick. And then now it's just very loose. And it broke off. So be careful of, I think it's called metal fatigue, I'm not sure. Just be careful of that. We still need to open up these two. But that's also the reason why I don't fully straighten out these pins, or the tabs, the locking tabs. Because sometimes I do end up opening up the joystick, and in the past when I didn't use in the past I would just straighten out the pins fully, and then that's how I realized I shouldn't do that. But it's completely fine to just slightly bend it open, not fully straight. So there we go. locking tabs are still intact. So this is the button that I'm going to use. So I'm going to put that here on the base, which I will also use. I don't throw this one away because sometimes I do use this one. I'm kind of interchangeably using these two. And this I don't use. You can save the spring if you want. If you're repairing these often and sometimes you get a broken spring, well, you'll have extra springs. So you can save them, it's not necessary. And then this is the part that we'll use along with the button. I don't remember if I cleaned up this side. It's always a bit discolored, so it's difficult to see if you actually cleaned it. So here I just lube the base, and this is something that Mega actually taught me. You just get like a blob of this, and you can do it on any surface. I just used the lid, and you want to have a very thin layer on this. You just kind of have it, you just want to have it wet. You don't want to have like blobs of anything. And then you just kind of spread it across here. That's more than enough. And then I also put some lube on this side, because if you look here, this wiper is sliding over it. So anywhere where two plastic pieces are touching each other, that's where I put lube. And then of course you can just dip a little bit if you run out. And that's it for the base. Now for this one, it comes in two pieces. This you can't really detach. So what I do is I put my, I don't know the name for this, like bristle? I don't know. English is not my first language, so I just kind of put it on the sides because they're like very tiny holes. So there I put it in, and then I just rotate, and I should get it everywhere evenly. Same on this side. And that's it. So then I also lube the insides of here. I don't know if this actually matters, but I still do it. Like, I don't know if these plastic pieces actually touch each other. So that's for the top, and then also for the bottom. And just wiggle it around, make sure it spreads evenly. One final thing is just put some lube on the ends. This one's less important, but I still do it because I don't know. Okay, and then make sure that when you put it back on, this piece goes over the button, and this is the one that goes to the x-axis. And then another thing I forgot was just a layer here. There we go. because that's where this piece is coming on. So let me just get some more. And for this piece, I just go from the inside. I lubricated this end as well. And this one I notice Gulikit does, or Hallpi, whatever, they do put some lubricant, but not everywhere. Like, they don't have any lubricant. I'll show the one from Alps as an example. Alps has lubricant here, has everywhere basically. It also has lubricant here. But Gulikit or Hallpi, they don't have that. So maybe that's something where they can improve. Gulikit also, Alps also has some here, on the inside as well. So it's not unheard of to lubricate these places. It's just that Hallpi doesn't do it. And that's it. So then for the base, or not the base, the frame, it has lubricant inside as well from Alps. So I just clean that off. And I put some new one. And that's pretty much it. Now I have kind of a custom TMR. Let's get it on correctly. So yeah, that's one mistake I made. So let me see if I can recreate it. If you want to close up the joystick and... Okay, well, it went correctly this time. Let me close this one up and then I'll show you what I mean. So the way I close it up is, this is where I use my tweezers because I can use a bit more force than the screwdriver. I hold it in, I check if everything is fully closed. In this case it is. It doesn't necessarily matter if the button is flush, because if you press the button it will sit flush. So with the tweezer I just bend these back. I do it in diagonals, or like in a diagonal pattern. And then once you have it like a bit closed, but you don't have it like fully seated, because I can still move the base up and down, I just put it on the table and I press this down really hard. Do be careful, if your hands are lubed, you can slip and you can puncture your finger. So it has happened. It's not like the worst pain, but you'll see like a dot here. So just be careful. So now the base doesn't move anymore. It's fully seated. And it moves freely. So that's one. So what I want to show here is, if you don't close it properly, what can happen is this white piece, it goes behind the blue part, which would look something like this. It's like that. And it will move, but not smoothly. Like yeah, it just won't move smoothly. So if that happens, or if you accidentally close it up and afterwards you see, oh, it's not correct, just take your tweezers, put it right Hold on. My hands are lubed right now, so it's a bit difficult to grab the joysticks. Let me just... Okay. You push the joystick down the opposite direction, and you push the tweezers in here. Just push, and that's it. Then you get it in its correct location. It works with that one as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one and then solder it on the controller so I can show the result. Alright, so I'm almost done with the second one. So for this one I did accidentally snap off these plastic tabs, but I'll show you that that's not a major issue. Like if it happens, I'll show you what you can do next. Also, I'm using a different camera angle now because I just wanted to see how this looks. Let me know which one you prefer for later videos. And it also allows me to get a bit closer in with my face so I see what happens. Now, there is one more place where you can put some lube, but I found it to not really be any use. I see Gulikit and I think Alps as well. I'm not sure about Alps. I don't know, but I do see Gulikit put like maybe here. This one, it might be visible. I'm not sure. Gulikit does put some lubricant in here, but I tested it and it doesn't really, you know, get anywhere. Like if I put lube here, put this on. I put this on, and if I just go back and forth, I don't really see any stripes of any kind that it actually touches. So it's pretty much pointless. Sometimes I see lube there from Gulikit and sometimes I don't, so they're also inconsistent, I suppose. And that's it. Now, again, another place is you can put lubricant here, but that's very tedious to work with because you're going to be holding the joysticks and you're going to get it all over your hands. So there's, oh here. Okay, this is from Alps, but here you can see some lube as well. It's not really, it won't really do anything. You can put it there if you want to. There we go. Now I did bend these pins a bit, so let's bend them back. And then they're ready to be soldered in again. And I already have a video about that, so I'm not going to show that process. So if your locking tabs break, first solder these 4 ground pins. And then on this sensor here, just push it up towards the joystick module and it will make it flush against the module. So yeah, again, it's not the end of the world if those tabs break, but it's just something to keep in mind of that the sensors should stay flush. And then one final thing about the button. If you're worried it's a bit crooked when you solder it down, put some tin on your iron, flux just 1 pin and then push it from the bottom and then solder it down. Let go, and now it should be flat. We can validate it. It is completely flat. And then you can just continue to solder on these. And there you go. That's a button that's completely flat. The joysticks are also done. I'm just gonna add a bit more solder onto here. Okay. So I'm gonna get the controller back together. It is like a custom controller, so that's gonna take me a while to get all this done correctly, but I'll be back. Okay, so I have it connected now, so we can calibrate it. What I usually do before calibrating is just pressing in the button and then pushing it forward. That allows me to also check for a defect that I found with these Hallpi Gulikit joysticks. So then I just follow the steps. I don't know why I'm doing save clarity, but yeah, this is fine. But then the issue I found with Hallpi and Gulikit is they have like two center points. So one, if you push it up, you press down, that's one center point, and that's the one we just calibrated for. And then some of them, when you push down and you press the button, they get a different center point. And now here, for example, you see 0.4. So I might redo that one. I'm not sure yet, but it's like not too noticeable, but it's still, you know, it bothers me. That's an issue. And then for the circularity, we can do that now as well. Right. I don't really think there's much to fine tune on this one. I mean, I can and I will off camera, but it looks quite good. So yeah, I mean, the thing is about lubrication, you won't necessarily see it in the calibration itself. You will mostly see it in the feel of the joystick. And that is mostly what I'm tackling here. This issue will just remain. Like if you push down, you get a different center point than if you push up. But that's just the way it is, at least for now. I haven't found a permanent fix for it yet, except for just replacing it until I get a good one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for replacing the internals and the lubrication. This was a very unplanned video, and I've been very inactive for the last couple of months because I've been in the last semester of my university. 16th of July is my last exam, and then afterwards I will continue full-time on repairing and just other YouTube videos in general. I have a lot of ideas that I didn't get to yet. And this was just one that, I don't know, it was random. I didn't really plan on it. So hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and hope you can actually use this information to mod your own joysticks, customize them if you want. So yeah. Also, who noticed the cat in the background?